Creamer Media's Mining Weekly Online is talking to Dr. Tony Harwood, the President and CEO of Montero Mining Exploration. Tony, you know, South Africa was known as a great mining country. It has provided growth for the economy in the past. South Africans are looking for economic growth at the moment. Do you think mining could have a rebirth and give us that growth that we need?
Absolutely. I see no reason why it should. It's got the skills base, it's got the resources. It just needs a will to make it happen. And I think the will's in the people. I think we need a drive from government to really make this industry fly again. You know, when I first came to South Africa 30 years ago, it's one of the top economies, mining economies in the world. And today it's nothing near there. And yet we still have the resources here, we still have the people. We actually export a lot of people from South Africa. There's nothing to stop South Africa being a mining giant in the world economy.
And do you think that leadership has to come from joint government and business, or can government do it?
Government can do it. You know, I mean, industry and people will try and make money wherever they can. But leadership from the top, leadership from government, there are economies in the world today which, in terms of mining, are perhaps even bigger than South Africa. You've got Peru, you've got Turkey, you've got Morocco. These countries you've never even heard of before, you know, in terms of mining, are becoming giants. Why? Because they're getting leadership from the top. They've got entrepreneurs and skills, and what they haven't got, they bring in. They create a stable economy, a stable environment. Mining's a long-term business. And in that respect, you provide the investor with a lot of confidence for the long term for his money.
And do we have the geology? Have we got that value in the ground?
I'm a geologist. It's one of the foremost places on the planet. And you just have to look at the statistics. You know, one of the biggest gold reserves on the planet, platinum, chrome, manganese, you name it, South Africa's got it. But it's still in the ground. Why is it still in the ground?
Exactly. And so can you still raise dollars to do things in South Africa? You've got Montero, you've got a project in phosphates in the Western Cape. Are you still able to raise dollars on the Australian Stock Exchange to come in here? Or what is the view of South Africa at the moment from the investors?
The overseas investors are very shy of South Africa at the moment, and have been for quite a number of years. I'd say 3, 4, 5, even longer than that. I mean, there have been some very good successes in South Africa with foreign companies coming here, and even local companies that have raised capital overseas for mega projects. But you know, the overseas investor is looking for a return. South Africans are looking for a job and job creation and value from mining and beneficiating minerals and all the wealth that South Africa has. You know, mining projects can take, you know, 10 years to find, 2 or 3 years, 5 years to develop. Money comes back into the funders' pockets 3, 5, 10 years after the event, depending on the size of the opportunity. So for that, you need stability. You need a long-term plan. The investor needs to see an environment in a country that provides confidence that environment is going to stay like that, because the NPV that he does today, the internal rate of return, the return on investment, all these matrices that investors use are based on assumptions, and the assumptions are that they're going to have stability for at least 10 to 20 years in any particular project.
Africa itself, you also have got interest in Tanzania. What is Tanzania like as an investment destination?
There's a new president that's turned up in the last few months, changed the place totally around. Gone to all his ministries, including the mining ministry, and said, you know, I've been hearing about corruption in these ministries. I want it all cleaned up. You've got a mandate from me to make sure that we've got proper processes that happen. We're going to rule out to make this a positive destination. And you're starting to see. I mean, I was up there last week. We've got a project there, but you know, I'm starting to look for more. Gives me confidence. You've got the man at the top saying, "Great, great place this, come and invest, we're going to clean our house out and make it an attractive destination again. Because Tanzania has many more gold mines and other commodities. It's a very rich country. And you need foreign investment in order to liberate and technologies as well.
And switch to Zimbabwe that you also visited recently. What is the outcome there with the sort of force on the 51% indigenization?
I think it's at a turning point at the moment. I think the country has suffered incredibly over the last 10 years or more. And it's not a investment destination. You go through the airports, there's 1 or 2 planes that land in a day. Beautiful airports, but there's nobody there. There's no taxis on the road. And yet, it's in gold terms, it's produced 71 million ounces of gold in its time. A lot of gold. Lots of big grand mines there, albeit small. The whole country was 98% of it was staked out in the early 2000s. 1999, 2000. 98%, including parts of Lake Kariba, were staked out in prospecting licenses and reconnaissance licenses. It's not the case anymore. You couldn't get into Zimbabwe. If you wanted to get in and do some exploration, you had to joint venture with a local group or an international group. And since those times, certainly in the last 10 years, because of the policies, and I'm not criticizing any policies, any country, any jurisdiction can have whatever policies it wants, whether it's be fiscal or financial. That's absolutely, totally up to any country to decide. But it certainly stopped, and a lot of companies exited out of Zimbabwe with what was going on, and very few people are back. But it's a great resource destination. Things could change there, and sometimes, and it's a phenomenon. It's a global phenomenon, and it comes down to our personal. When things are at rock bottom, you sometimes got no opportunity to. There's nowhere else to go. You have to go up. You have to change things, but again, countries have their own jurisdictions, their own peoples to look after, and their own laws and so on. But for the early bird, you can see change. In Tanzania, there's been change. I think we're starting to see some change in Zambia. And I hope, we're going to see some change here in South Africa.
And swinging back to South Africa, we seem to be totally bereft of exploration investment. Do you think we need like a flow-through scheme like Canada has got?
That would help a great deal. In fact, there is some sort of flow-through scheme here. I think, there's a lot of entrepreneurs in South Africa. They know geology. They know the great wealth here. I think there needs to be some sort of catalyst to provide the junior sector. I mean, the entrepreneurs. There's a Prospectors and Developers Association convention every March in Canada. 30,000 people go to it. It was created by prospectors. 30,000 people go over a 4-day period. Where is that in South Africa? Yes, we can talk about deep deposits and accessible and 2 or 3 kilometer drill holes, for some of the bigger deposits. But there are lots of small deposits. For every big deposit, there's multitudes of smaller ones, and the skills are here. We just have to provide a catalyst to it, and that's a government thing, and I think the government really needs to believe, and perhaps it does, that South Africa can be a great mining country once again.
That was Creamer Media's Mining Weekly Online, talking to Dr. Tony Harwood, the President and CEO of Montero Mining and Exploration.